Yo, what's good? What's gravy? What's great? It's your motherfucking man Al Nuke. Right now, you watching the #1 website for Show Mag, and you know who I am, Mr. 17,000 block cone and garden, fourth quarter crunch time, deep sea drill diver, nigga. East side Detroit for life, Nuke at night, nigga. This shit don't stop. Bleh!
So, Nuke, what inspired you to get into music?
What inspired Al Nuke to get into music? As a kid, for me it was I was blessed to be around at the almost the beginning of music. You know, the birth of hip hop when like Run DMC and seeing LL Cool J like kick in the studio door and rap and make them listen. That type of stuff inspired me. Back when hip hop was pure, it just made me want to be a part of it. And more importantly, I knew I had something to say. Like I knew I had something that the people needed to hear.
Now, when you say back when it was pure, explain.
Well, you know, when people back when people had something to say, you know, I come from the era when people was making music because they had a voice. It was something to change. Either it was gonna make you feel good, it was gonna make you dance, or if it was gonna make you think, you know, it was gonna make you get money. You know, it had motivation behind it. I think a lot of the music right now is just people just got already intentions and ulterior motives with it to kind of, you know, go with the trend or kind of, you know, really don't have no substance in it at all. It's just you know, and if anything, it's just gonna be something that's telling you to go do something to possibly fuck yourself up.
So, what's one word you would use to describe yourself?
100.
Why is that?
Because you know, since a kid, I've been real. I've been real. I done been through it all. You know, when you talk about everything, I done been involved in keys, drugs, murders, federal indictments, attempt murders myself, and never snitched, never told. You know, I done seen friends murder each other, and you know, I done seen everything. Don't owe nobody no money. Never ran off with a bag. Always put people on. Always put niggas on. You know, niggas always know that I helped them get money, and if I ever owed you, it was only for temporary, and you got your money back. You know, and it just everything I always been was just been real, 100.
Now, when you say you put people on,
Mm-hmm.
I can agree to that. But a lot of people that are back in the city are looking like, dang, you just gonna leave us?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I say the city, I mean the city of Detroit.
True.
You moved from Detroit to Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason behind that move?
The main reason behind the move is because I didn't feel challenged anymore. You know, for people to say that, they got to look at my history. You know, Al Nuke did, you know, 16, 17 years of pure entertainment in Detroit. You know, if you go back, I was one of the first artists that actually became a celebrity in Detroit. I helped build a mold for artists to even become celebrities in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? It was only like me, Trick, Bombshell, and Play School that created and recreated a mold for artists to even become, you know, celebrities in Detroit again. You know, and before that, it was artists before us, but we recreated that mold. So when you look at that and look at, you know, me putting out 7 albums and you know, countless mixtapes, 3-4 movies, a #1 TV show for 5 years, you know, man, the list go. A philanthropist, you know, doing everything with politics and giving back and marches and speeches. I did everything I could. I didn't feel challenged anymore. And I think more importantly, I feel like, you know, in order to really help Detroit, you got to leave and bring something back to the city. You know, people with names, not everybody, but just people that can do something. We got to build our relationships on a national path because niggas got tired of looking at each other. That's what the problem is in the D. That's why it's a lot of beef. It's a lot of bullshit because we always looking at each other. Niggas is not moving around. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I've always created jobs, opportunities for everybody and people that's around me in Detroit for many years. And people that's watching this know they can vouch for that 100. They're going to be shaking their head. But at the same time, I feel like I got to go and broaden the relationships outside the city and bring that shit back home. You know what I'm saying? Don't question what Al Nuke did in a couple years. Question what my plan was for in the next 5 years or 10 years. You're going to actually start seeing national artists and people dealing with Detroit on an everyday basis. You know, it's going to be a everyday thing. So I never took Detroit out of my mind, out of my heart, out of my body, my soul. I bleed it all day, period, point blank. I feel bad that I left too, but at the same time, I see a bigger picture. I see something whereas in I can help more than standing on 7 Mile with you and telling you I'm gonna make it. You know.
So you feel like you feel that it's true when they say you have to lead a city to make it and think, because the city is just, it clouds your mind. You believe in that saying?
I think, you know, it goes back to like Russell Simmons told me a long time ago, if it ain't where you at, go where it's at. And that goes for any city. It's just not Detroit. It's just wherever you at. You know, if your mindset is just strictly what you trying to do creatively with yourself, if it's not there, you have to go to where it's at. And if you got love, then you bring that shit back where it's at and where it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? You bring it back home. That's what it's all about. It don't matter what city you're from. If you just go where your dreams is at.
What are some of the differences in the music culture between Detroit and Atlanta, in your opinion?
Our music is real. Is one thing about us is we real emotional people. You know, Detroit. First of all, we got our emotions stay on our shoulders. And once I left the city for a minute and just seeing how people operate, because I always left Detroit, you know, to always go out of town and always traveled. But really being out for a minute, I noticed that we real emotional people. We wear our emotions on our shoulders. And really and truly, everybody is just really having fun, you know what I'm saying, across the world. And people just living their life, waking up, going to work, and just, you know, whatever they doing, you know, they doing. Their dialogue is not, yo, my man had just did this to my man, and such had just did this. You know, the dialogue is not that. Everybody's living a positive life and just really trying to live. So I think that incorporates in our music, because our music is really aggressive. You know, our music is very aggressive music. And I think that's why, you know, we've always been, you know, prejudiced against, is because our music is so aggressive. I think that's why, you know, they don't rock with us like they supposed to fuck with us, because we got real aggressive ass music. You know, it ain't really no sauce and no layers to it. It's just, nigga, I'm selling dope, I'm fucking hoes, I'm pulling up on your bitch, this, that, and the other. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta just put a little bit more flavor, a little bit more sauce in it. I think Detroit music is beautiful. It's a lot of artists out there that go crazy. A lot of them that I deal with in everyday basis. But we just gotta make music that everybody can listen to, and not just 7 Mile. Because let's just be clear, that sound that's really out right now is like, you know, Street Lords, Cheddar Boys. That's where it came from, period. You know what I'm saying? Before them, there was no sound of this same sound that's coming out of Detroit right now. You know what I'm saying? They created that sound. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being 100.
You kind of already addressed it, but I'm going to ask it in a different way. Mm-hmm. What do you feel is the reason that Detroit artists have a tough time breaking into the music industry?
Well, for one, we got to build our relationships up. We got to build our relationships up. And again, go back to, we got to start moving around. Like, we don't move around enough. We stay right in the city and promote and push and produce our music right there in the city. You know, we don't stretch out. And that's one thing you got to understand, is that Atlanta is not listening to what Detroit is playing. You know what I'm saying? Chicago can care less about what Detroit is playing. Even the surrounding areas, they don't care about what Detroit is playing. So until us as Detroit artists can go out and start building those relationships and get to fucking with people and letting the MDs and the PDs know in other markets that this is our music and this is what we represent, and then having music that's acceptable for them too, you know what I'm saying, in those other markets, making it where it's easy and friendly to listen to there, then that can pop off. You know what I'm saying?
To defend Detroit a little bit, you know, it's full of arrogant artists. Like, do you feel like their arrogance is earned, or do you feel like they're just arrogant for no reason? Because, you know, you can tell in their raps that they're very arrogant from the things they say, and I guess that's leading over, like, into the industry. Do you feel that they have a reason to be arrogant, or do you think, you know, otherwise?
You know what's crazy? It goes back to, like I was saying before, it's like, being a Detroit artist, we our own city. Like, don't nobody rock with us, and we don't rock with nobody. You know what I'm saying? So when we created that lane where nigga can really become a Detroit celebrity, it's almost like you're a celebrity across the world because you already don't go nowhere. So if you can go to every club, fuck every bitch, run up at every spot, smoke some kush with a nigga, you damn near star anyway. So it's like the ego, it's there because in your world you're a star. You know what I'm saying? So the ego is, it's going to be natural. You only get humbled when you go out of that square miles and people be like, yo, who the fuck is you?
Mm-hmm.
What
are some of your favorite memories of your career?
That's big because I've been doing this shit for a long time. So man, it's a lot. Let's
not put an age on you. But how long have you been doing it?
Man, my first album came out, Real Talk, was like 97. You know what I'm saying? And it did like 10,000 pieces. I was fresh out on attempt murder. And I was out on bond and released my first album. Big shout out to Rudy, still doing Fed time. My boss, one of my bosses, you know what I'm saying? Still doing Fed. Never told, never fold.
All right, but yeah, back to it. Like, what are some of your favorite memories?
My favorite memories. Let me see. Wow, man, there's so many memories. One of my favorite memories out the blue, I'm going to say this too, and I'm not going to say the radio jock. This is one of my favorite memories. I'm not going to say the jock. Was getting head on 98 WJLB. Live on the radio, I'm just getting head. We talking shit. We getting head. Life was great. That had to be one. Shutting down 7 Mile, you know what I'm saying? It was historic, of course. Police blocked 7 Mile off for us to do a thing. Hanging out with Al Gore on a fucking, on a presidential plane, and I had just OD'd a dope fiend, and like 3 weeks before that, it was like the irony of that was crazy. So it's a lot of experiences. Crazy.
How did you link up with super producer Zaytoven?
Hooking up with Zaytoven. Long story short, big shout outs to Baby Ray, Cosa Nostra. I always got to stay stand up. That's another one of my bosses. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, we did a lot of stuff throughout the years. He started coming out here and rocking with Zay early in the game, like before Gucci and before all the stuff he used to tell me about Gucci. He used to tell me about this young nigga he was, kind of helping, do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And back then it was like, around So Icy, a little bit before or after, I can't remember, but he was telling me about it. And long story short, when that happened, I was like really working with Ray, and Ray had artists, and I came out here and worked with Zay, with one of the artists, Humble G. Big shout outs. He one of the one of the CEOs of Zaytown with us. I came out and worked with him, and we just gelled from there. And when I decided to make my move out here to Atlanta, Zay was one of the first people I knew that I had an opportunity with, because one thing about me is I didn't come to Atlanta trying to rap. Like, I didn't come down here and say, yo, I'm this rapper from Detroit. I did all of that. I came down low. I came down to play my position. I came down, I seen an opening, and I started in that opening, and I just let it develop from there. And, me and Zay, like right now, we like brothers. We just going hard. I bring the elements, to the whole Zaytown brand that, that Detroit feel, that real nigga shit is around. You know what I'm saying? It's like my bro.
What are some upcoming projects that you have in store?
First and foremost, Finesse, the movie, be out Christmas. Big shout outs. I think it's it's gonna be my biggest work yet. Finesse is great. It's a movie coming out. I got Salute the Real, the mixtape still dropping. The mixtape, I'm still back in the studio. I'm working Zay on my head about getting in that studio. A lot of the artists we got around, so I'm doing the mixtape, Salute the Real. That'll be coming out real soon. And then also Atlanta Undercover, a new television show that I'll be working on. And 17,000 Part 2. I can't forget about that. We started production on that. We pushed it back. We'll be back. We'll be into that November, December of this year. 17,000 Block Part 2.
All right. Let's look at you now and then look back at the you back when you were like 18, 17, whatever the case may be, when you first got into this music or entertainment period. What is some advice that you would give yourself?
That's good. That's a good question. What I would get an old Nuke is The advice I would tell him is to don't act off emotions quickly. Don't react and respond so quick to everybody else that's moving around you. Because this entertainment shit is a roller coaster. So if you don't know how to control your roller coaster, you're going to fall off that bitch in a minute. So what I'd have told the old Nuke or the young Nuke, I'd have just told him, you know, to respond off things and think first off everything, even when people approach you to do work and business, or, you know, somebody get you mad or fucked up, just think and analyze the situation. Don't react off emotions.